Hello, all you folks out there in YouTube land, and welcome back to ADHD Gamer, where we do short, hot takes on whatever game happens to be in front of us today, or at least our impressions thereof. So, you Americans in the audience, you should at least know something about Meriwether Lewis and William Clark. They made this fun little journey in the early 1800s from Missouri to the west coast of North America, from starting in a city, funnily enough, called Independence. Weird. Okay. For those that aren't, look for Lewis and Clark on the Magic Giggle box, and you won't have any problems finding it. It'll come right up. By the way, that Clark is spelled with an E, just so you don't lose it. On to the game. Meriwether is an attempt at an RPG, which itself intends to teach history. Not that it's really all that good at the former. As for the latter, I'm sure that's what they were going for in the first place. They gamified the Lewis and Clark expedition, left some interesting hints in the terminology they use, and the use of the language and the music for setting the tone. A lot of mainstream players might want to turn the music off, but I wouldn't do that. It's actually period material, and it does improve on some things there. But aside, let no good history lesson go unpunished. Graphically, game is absolutely dated. It would have been cutting edge back in the noughties, but for something that was released to early access in 2017, could have been way better. Heavy dark lines, lack of texture definition, give it just kind of a washed out feel. It makes me want to climb the walls, I'm telling you. No, North America in the 17th and 18th century, not a nice place, nor was it pretty. But at least try and throw us a bone, even if it's a tiny one. Don't have to do like huge 4K, but something. Let's at least go for something. I'm not actually a huge fan of FPS gameplay. I don't necessarily have a problem with it, but I don't think it was really all that appropriate here. Just kind of a me thing. Not as much of a pain in the ass as it is jarring. Yeah. Some of the mini games, they went okay. The RPG system is overly simplistic. You have character points represented by what they think of as black bile. Character creation dealt with by making selections in one of the four categories: leader, soldier, diplomat, scientist. The more points you put into a category, the more successful, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Problem is, there's only 3 points you can add to each, and you have an even more limited pool of points. You wouldn't be able to get your hands on all 12 that you would need to max everything out. That's going to really tweak the noses of your min-max types. There's really no room to apply trade there. Well, is it worth the $15 cover charge? Yeah, I'm going to say no. If you're a huge history buff and you want to see that for yourself, or you're studying American history, you probably find it fascinating. If that's your bag, do it. I'm fairly familiar with North American history, so it's really not for me. We just don't have enough solid. Went through $44,000 for a successful Kickstarter. It's been 18 months in early access. Not only has there not been a single update, but there's been no real communication from the developers. I'm half inclined to call this project dead. If you really want to play the Curiosity game, wait till it goes on sale, if it ever does. I don't know. For my money, there's something rotten in the state of Denmark. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but something is not right there. Either they pushed everything out and then ran out of money, which when they're only asking for $40K or so, that's not going to be enough anyway. As for a score, 4.5 out of 10. It doesn't quite make what I think of as average. And yes, I use 5 as an average, just so everybody's clear on that. But once again, if you're really into the history side of it, great. Just don't expect a brilliant gameplay perspective. That's really what I'm going to go for here. Said, caveat emptor. From now until the next time we see you, be safe, be sane, and let's make games fun again. See ya.